might be poor. Breathe. Don't suffocate them. We have that responsibility.
And I did.
Hello. And welcome back to Common Sense for Relationships. I'm actually really excited, because it's been a while. I've missed you guys. I wonder if anybody missed me or if anybody missed us. Because yes, I am not alone. I am with my darling husband, Kingsley. And very soon you're going to see him. Yes.
No be only you waka come.
My fine Bobo husband.
What can I say? What can I say?
Yes, he's here.
I'm here.
And I'd like to welcome you all back to the show. On this show, we bring you valuable information to help you make better decisions in your lives and in your relationships.
Confirm.
In particular.
Confirm.
So,
I was going to say, just to an addendum, in case there are areas in life that you are struggling with sense, maybe you think that the sense that you have no reach, this is the show for you. Do you understand? So you just know that when you come to this show, we will borrow you sense. And in case you don't have sense at all in that area, this is on this channel. Check our videos. You will certainly find the one that gives you the sense that fact, you are looking for.
The beauty about the whole thing is that it is collective sense. Because I mean, by the time everybody chimes in, different people bring their views, you just get to understand a little better, right? And have a broader view, a broader perspective on whatever matter is being discussed. So, yes, we're excited about being back on the show. Yes. And it's going to be a fantastic year. So I'll encourage you, join us as you always do on Saturdays, 8 p.m. West African time, and let's dive into different issues, scatter many tables, break some, and then arrange some back. Yes. So today we have an interesting topic. But before we go into the meat of the matter, and before we even introduce the topic, I think there's something interesting that my darling husband wants to share. Is he still sharing it? Okay, so he is not sharing it anymore. I am now the one that is sharing. And what I will share is the topic, the cost of love. Banam. And what we're going to find out is, what is the cost of love? In this season, in this era, with inflation and with all the things that are going on, what's the cost of love?
So, wait, before you even go there, let me start like this. What has love cost you?
So, are you trying to... We're just starting, and you're already doing this your thing?
It's a new year, new. There's no time before the year will get old. Let's hit the issue direct.
You're looking for trouble.
What has love cost you?
I should tell them. Let me start with the first one. At least the first one that I remember very easily. Love cost me a cut on my leg. Yes. When in the name of love, I went to visit somebody. And because I was trying to be nice, I had to follow the person and enter bus. And I did not realize that when you're entering bus as per public transportation, you have to look left, look right, as if you're crossing the road.
Why are you doing it? So you have to go back. Wait, I'm coming. See, so what has love cost you? This is the one you have decided to. This one that you chose. This one that you carry.
Wait now. So you now entered this bus and sat comfortably, thinking that it's just like every other normal vehicle that I was used to. Only for me to hear schwack. Do you understand what that schwack means?
Baby, just because you are not used to entering bus when I met you, and you enter bus the first time we went out together.
It's not that I was not used
and
to
the bus cut your leg. You are not saying that that's the cost of love.
The cost is that sometimes in the name of love you will get injured. That's okay. Let me give it a more what should I call it? Sophisticated response. You know.
Which is?
So the response is that sometimes in the name of love, you have to give up your way of doing things. You know, you may have to go for methods or approaches that you're not particularly used to and may not be very convenient for you. Example, instead of using, in quotes, Uber or hiring your own taxi or driving in your chauffeur-driven whatever, you now have to use public transportation because you need to go out with somebody and so on and so forth.
Okay, so
that's just an example.
So still in the spirit of the cost of love, how many girls today will enter bus with their guy? Meanwhile, they can afford to enter Uber.
I'll leave the people in the comments to
okay,
answer.
so
Yes,
ladies, in the spirit of the cost of love, type in the comment section, how many of you, in the name of love, will enter bus with your guy that you love when when you can afford to enter Uber, but you just follow the guy enter bus? Saute your leg, concord, but let's assume your leg doesn't concord. How many of you will enter there? Let me. Please, we need to tell us in the comment section.
Yes.
Let's see
and
it there.
speaking of the comment section, we have to say hello to everyone who has joined us on and has already left a comment, starting with Debbie. As usual, Debbie's 2024, and you're here again. We're so excited to see you, Debbie. You're always there for us. Thank you so much. And most of the time, you're the first online. Thank you so much, Debbie. We really appreciate you. And Pastor Rehoboth is here also. He says, gracias. Yee-hee. And then Debbie's wishing us a happy new year. And then there's Esther Ogolo. She says, I love her speaking voice. Thank you so much, Esther. That is just a wonderful compliment. And then, of course, Debbie said, we did. Pastor Rehoboth says, you just kept us hanging.
Apologies, sir. Apologies. You know,
Pastor
after
Rehoboth,
running for 1 year, not missing any Saturday,
to the very last week of
till
December.
the very last week of December, we had to take a break so that
break was needed. So that some people will go and visit their parents, some people will go and do village runs and stuff like that, and we're back. The beautiful thing is that we are back, and we're glad to be back. Thank you so much, Pastor Rehoboth. And he said, you're guilty as charged. Esther says, no grief for anybody. He choked.
Yes, now.
I'm sure that he choked is to that your question that you're asking. If ladies today will follow their guy to enter a bus, public transportation, you know, when they're able to afford Uber and stuff like that. I mean, it's not by force. Someone will ask, what's the point? Why can't she just get the Uber and then let the guy follow her enter and so on? So, well, yeah, the circumstances and the scenario is up to you. So, over to you, Mr. Bature.
So, while we are still on the matter, we need to look at, you know, in the rising cost of things, the way the cost of things are rising now, how exactly would you quantify what love is worth? What are the sacrifices that you ought to make for love? What are the sacrifices that you have made for love? What are the sacrifices that you are making for love? These are all the questions that are going around my mind when I hear, when I hear the title, The Cost of Love. What is the cost? What are the sacrifices that people have made for love? For love. I'm taking it for granted that all of us mean the same thing about love. Oh. That's what I'm just assuming, that we all mean the same thing about love. Because if the definition of love that all of us are carrying is the same, then what are the sacrifices that you have made that you shouldn't have made? What has it cost you? The things that it has cost you, should it have cost you those things? Do you understand? So I'm just asking all of those questions, and I want people to, inside there, just be answering us in our comments. We'll take the comments later, but it's just to get people's mind thinking. What has love cost you? What is love costing you? And the things that it is costing you, should it cost you those things?
So do you want to, you sound, you're just reeling out the questions. I think I should throw it back at you and say, you start. Answer one. Then the rest of us will do, you know how they used to do example? Then from your example, we will now continue.
So what are you asking me? I don't know. What are you asking me?
All those questions you were
No,
asking.
ask me one. Just be direct. You say this year, no grief for anybody is the question. So pick a direct question and ask it. I'm here.
You asked the questions.
I ask my own. You ask. I'm here.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Say your own, Pastor. Anybody just say your own. I'm here. You say this year we are taking it personal. There's no time. They say no grief for anybody, even in your relationship. No grief for anybody.
Yes, Esther has said she will not suffer. She will pay for Uber for both of you, as in for both of them to use. Yes, that's what Esther says. This is her response to what will you do. She will not suffer.
She will not enter the bus.
She will pay for Uber.
For both of you to enter.
Which is a practical solution. So now the question is, which guy will give up his what should I call it? His ego,
his manhood,
and enter the Uber that the lady paid for? Is it going to be a challenge, or because there's a way that people who are not so buoyant, right, who don't have so much money, have this mentality of, she has to live within my means. She has to make do with what I can provide, and that's it. So even if she has so much money, you're not allowing her to be free to do what she wants to do with it. She's telling you, I can pay for rent a 3-bedroom apartment for us. You are saying it's 1-bedroom apartment that I can afford, and so you're just wondering what's up. What is this person supposed to do? Is she going to be limited by your resources when she has access to so much more? She's saying, I can afford for you guys to do a long distance, I can afford for you guys to do vacation, right? Do vacation, like go and spend time abroad, have fun, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, Steph. Come back and then continue with your usual routine. And you're like, no, if I am not the one paying, if I'm not the one buying the tickets, then we're not going anywhere, because I have to be the one making that provision. I am the man of the house. I am the provider. So these are some of
that really happens for traditional men. There are different kinds of men, and I think that's where when we start counting the cost that we pay for love, we bring a lot of things into the play. We bring a lot of things into play. We bring the personalities of the people we are in a relationship with, right? Those are part of the cost that we pay in love. The personality of people. So for a lady that is buoyant, and the guy may not be. It's not as if the guy is poor, but the guy is not as buoyant as you are. So he can enter public transport. You can enter Uber, or he can enter Uber and you are driving your car. Do you understand? So they are all at different levels. So the question is, depending on the person that you are saying you are going out with, or the person that you are in love with, which kind of man is he? Which kind of man is he? Is he a traditional man? Is he a conventional man? Is he a new generation man? These are all different kinds of men, right?
Yeah.
And all of them want different things. So a traditional man, there's nothing you will do that will make him enter an Uber that you will pay for, because he's a traditional man, whether he has money or not. That's it. So it means that if you're going out with a traditional man, you also expect that you will bear the cost of going out with him. That's part of the cost you pay. And part of that cost means you will enter Uber because that's what he can afford to pay for. These are real issues in relationship. Do you understand? And that's the way I'm looking at it. Okay. So the cost also part of the cost in relationship, and part of the cost that people have to look at these days, so that you don't cost yourself a lot more things than it ought to cost you. Because some relationships now are, how do they put it? They are high maintenance. Some relationships are high maintenance. They have high cost because the people in the relationship have not first looked at what is the personality. What is the personality of the person I'm going out with?
So if I those are really interesting points that you've raised. The concept of the traditional man, right? I mean, it's an interesting concept, and sometimes when people speak of it, they try to make it sound like this traditional man is a problem.
No.
But you know that in many settings, this traditional man is wonderful, especially if this traditional man is loaded.
He has money.
Because if this traditional man is loaded, that means you're just going to be chilling. In fact, maybe he will say, I don't even want you to work. I don't want you to be saying sir to anybody else, you know? So he wants to be your Lord and Master, you know, that kind of thing. But then in doing that, or in being that, he provides everything. He makes sure every need is met. He makes sure, in fact, not just needs, wants are met. You have more than enough, and you're just happy, right? You're just okay. You're just, I mean, it's not, if you want to go and work, you say, okay, maybe you do it as leisure, or as something fun to do, not as something you're doing to earn money, in quotes. All right, so we are not against traditional men.
And if I will add something to what you've just said, that's the reason I brought that up, is that a lot of people in relationships today are paying a high price because they didn't pay attention to several qualities in the person they are going out with, whether the male or the female, whether the man or the woman. You need to pay attention, because if you don't pay attention, you will pay something else. That's the truth. In relationship, if you don't pay attention, you will pay something else.
So let me say, you need to understand the context of the individual.
Halagabadaya.
Context of the individual that you are getting into a relationship
so if
with.
we roll back and we pick just the traditional man, because there are different types of men. If we pick just the traditional man, you can say, I will never go out with a kind of man that is like that. No, the traditional man is also the kind of man that will tell you, like you said, that will tell you, oh, anything you want, I will supply it. But the traditional man will also say, this is part of the cost. The traditional man will also say, I don't want you to work. I don't want you to have a career, because I want you to be at home taking care of my kids. Whatever it is that you want to work, I will pay you. I will take care of you, but I need you to stay at home and take care of my kids. How many women today will do that? See, there are some women that we do, that we agree. The problem that I see in counting this cost of love is that a lot of women are not clear about what they want. And I'm speaking for the men in this case. A lot of women are not clear about what they want. It's as if they want to eat their cake and have it. So they want a man that is everything, so that they don't have to be anything. So they have to be something at their own, they have to be something they want to be at their own. You have to count the cost of the relationship you want to get into. So if it's a traditional man, and today, you find a lot of young girls saying, oh, I want a man that can do this, can take care of me and all of that. You can have him in a traditional man. He'll take care of you, right? But then he also wants you to not, so he also wants you to not be walking around in short skirt and going to people's office and answering sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir to some other person. So you find it.
He also wants you to, like you said, be at home.
Be at home.
Prepare his meals.
Prepare his meal when he come back.
He may have certain preferences, like I can't eat food prepared by anybody
I can't eat food that's 2 days old. I need my food fresh. Yes, I need my food fresh.
Now you're really pushing it.
I'm serious. I'm telling you, this is a traditional man. So if he's paying the bills, then he can make some demands. So the question you have to ask yourself is, if I want a man for whom I can make demands, am I also willing to pay for the demands that he makes? It's both ways. That's part of counting the cost.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. You're on fire today. As if they sent you.
As if they sent them. I'm looking for the guys.
Okay, so let me ask you, since you asked me, even though my response was a very funny one, right? But really, what has been the cost of love on your side?
What has love cost me? Ah. I mean, this question you ask, the way you ask it very calmly,
Very
like
nicely,
the way you
very-
ask it very nicely, like
very
this.
sweetly, you know.
Viewer discretion, please, because this is the kind of question that can make you sleep on the sofa in the night. But I know you're a good woman, you're a God-fearing woman, so you won't do that. You won't do that. See, I'm toasting my wife on air so that anything I say cannot be used against me in the court of law. So let me say this thing.
What are you laughing at
Somebody said, "Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it." Should I say? Please, you please tell me. Should I say? Should I say? Should I say? Let me. What has love cost me? So should I say so that I won't sleep outside? Grace.
I'm just
Grace.
really, I'm
Grace
just
says,
really
"Don't do
waiting.
it." Grace says, "Don't do
And
it."
in fact, Debbie says it's the God-fearing for me, honestly. You know, it's women that often say, I'm looking for a God-fearing
Yes,
woman.
yes.
So now that you're using God-fearing woman to cite me, it sounds very funny. Okay. Yeah, now.
Okay, so what has love cost me? One of the things that I can say that love has cost me is, I don't know if people know that I used to be a ladies' man. I used to be a ladies' man.
It's true, it's true.
As in, I'm the kind of guys that I am very comfortable around women. So I have women flocking me left, right, center. So it's like I could have my, I could pick to say, oh, this is the person I want to have lunch with today. That's the person I want to do. That was me. I was that guy.
Yeah, and I can't, even the way you're saying it, you still sound really excited about it.
No, now it was a thing. As a guy,
like you wish you
as
could,
a guy,
you know.
Guys out there, see, honestly, guys, how many guys out there don't like it when the ladies flock around you?
That kind you just walk in and everybody's like saying
I mean,
hi and stuff like that, you know.
okay,
After fellowship, all the
and
sisters want to greet you.
And they had all different kinds of names for me. You can see the way my goodness, I was a good guy.
Can you tell me some of the names? You know?
I know now. A number of them are married now. You want their husband to see me.
No, they won't know who was calling you that now. But you can tell us what they were calling you.
No, don't worry. But my point is,
No, guys.
I lost that.
Yes, he lost it.
I lost it. When I got married, even though I didn't have a problem with it, I didn't have a problem with still having ladies around me, but they clear me the thing for I. Say, man, bros, you can't do this anymore.
Actually, in fact, from the time that he asked me out, I had to say, oh, really? Okay. So who is this person, this person, this person, this person? There are like 5 people.
Like 5? There were 5.
There are like 5 people. I still remember them that I had to ask specifically, who are these people to you? That can before I say yes, right? I need to understand who they are to you, because I'm not going to come and be dragging man. I have better things to do with my time and my life. So he had to explain who this one is, who that one is, who that one is, and who that one is, to let me know that there was nothing more, right, with those, in quotes, friendships, and we could go ahead and have a relationship. Why are you laughing?
Esther says she still remembers. That's to tell you.
I can
That's
remember
to tell you
all of
that
them,
that's to tell you I suffered things as a guy. As a guy, brothers, help me out now. Don't leave me hanging. You know how it feels when, as a guy, you have everybody checking you out. And all the ladies, you could come and you will hug this one. You make them feel jealous. You know that they are feeling jealous, but you just go on. But it's the real thing. It cost me.
Yeah.
And I had to cut them off. So that's why. So the problem, you see, that problem still exists in a lot of relationships. People, young ladies, young guys today, they want to be in a relationship, but they don't want to pay the price. You have to be willing to pay the price to say, hey, if I am going to say yes to this guy, it means that I'm going to say no to a lot of other guys.
Yeah, you have to say goodbye to all those
besties.
Besties of the opposite sex. You know, because there are some people who say, I'm married, but my bestie is, you know, the opposite
It's,
gender.
it's, it's, you're a
So,
guy.
you are a guy.
And your bestie is a woman. My brother, fear God.
A woman that is not your wife.
My brother, fear. My brother. Except your wife doesn't know about it. I will struggle. That's part of counting the cost. I will struggle to find a woman that will be okay that her husband's best friend is a woman. So, so,
And you know there's a
so,
way-
so Arsenal win match now. Instead of telling my wife that Arsenal won match, I will now call my best friend that is a woman to tell her, do you remember, do you believe that Arsenal just won? My brother, you are playing with fire. It's part of the cost.
Yeah. Yeah, it's part of the cost. You have to say goodbye to the. Why are you laughing now?
Olusegun Oyeleke, he said, bros, don't off Michael, but you might want to reduce the volume. But so these are part of the cost. These are part of the cost that you pay for love. And the reason we are doing this, and it's interesting that it's the first topic we're starting with in the year.
Yeah.
And it is in the month of love, which is the month of February.
Yeah.
But we need to get people to understand, if I am going to do this love thing,
Yes.
what is it going to cost me?
Yes.
And be realistic about the cost, about the price that you have to pay.
Yeah, honestly. So please, just think about it, Sha. You know, some guys will say, oh, it's okay for them to have a lady as their best friend, and then the lady now asks, so if I have a guy as my best friend, is it also okay? That's when you now hear that, what do you mean? Why do you want to have a guy as your best friend? So really put yourself in the shoes of your partner, put yourself in the shoes of your husband or your wife, and think about it. If they went ahead to have a best friend of the opposite gender, would it be cool with you? If you're not cool with it, then you shouldn't be trying to do that to them, okay? So I will tell you one of the other costs, okay? One of the things that I had to say goodbye to a great extent after getting married, right? So when I was single, my mom was like the final authority, right? Because my dad wasn't around. I lost my dad when I was very young. So she was the one who used to call the shots. She was the one who had the power to say no or yes, and I will go with whatever she said. And I submitted to her authority. In fact, sometimes when I was trying to find out what does God want me to do about something, and I can't really figure it out, I'll now pray and say, okay, God, whatever my mother says, I'm going to take it as your will on this subject, right? Made my life very easy. So, you know, I now had this little window, very small window, where I was no longer with my mom, right? And so I had this little liberty where I was the one making decisions by myself. Then I now got married. All of a sudden, in fact, I didn't realize when I was getting married that authority, I now had to transfer it, right?
Ha.
I remember the very first wedding I wanted to go for after, and I just told my husband, you know, like that kind of, my friend's getting married in Port Harcourt, I need to go.
I remember.
Long story short, the answer was no.
I remember.
And it took me days to come to terms with the fact that this guy actually now has this kind of say in my life. Hey, I know when they're dating you, they will not be doing some of those things. So you'll be thinking, this person is nice, he's sweet, you know, he really tries to make sure I'm happy and stuff. You don't know that after they'll be giving you reasons why it's not a good time for you to travel. So yes, submitting to authority,
that's
especially when you feel you are empowered to do what you want.
Exactly.
I want to travel. I don't need your money to make this trip. Do you understand? So why are you telling me no? Do you understand? It's different when I am coming to ask you for money and you don't have, and because of that you say I should not go.
But in this case, you had.
But I have. In fact,
You can buy the ticket.
Yes.
But I said no.
So that kind of situation now.
I'm a man's man.
That kind of situation, you know.
No, but just to bring some perspective to it, this these are part of the cost. Submission to authority, that's the point you are bringing. But is that if you are going to fall in love, you are going to fall under somebody's authority.
Yeah, particularly if you are a woman.
If you
right?
are a woman.
Why I'm saying particularly, because culture seems to support that one.
Yes.
Right? But there's also the part where you are a guy and you still have to submit. Now, somebody will say, what do you mean? How do you mean the man will submit to the woman?
Wait, Bobby, wait. The first example I gave before your own example, I'm a guy. I had to use common sense to cut away the babes.
Yeah.
That's me submitting
Yes,
right there.
exactly.
Otherwise, I would have said, oh, as a guy now, I'm a man, so I can handle
do what
it.
I want.
I can do what I want. I can do that. But it's still submitting to authority. It's just that you don't call it that.
Exactly.
But it is.
It's a lovely submission. A submission in love.
In fact, the Hebrew Bible puts it in a way. It says submitting
yourselves
one to another.
Yes.
So, but you see, if you don't count that cost, what will happen? Another lady, right? Because I gave you the reason why you shouldn't travel. So it wasn't a case of you couldn't afford it. But I gave you the reasons. But another lady will say, how can you say that it's my friend? So he said, I don't need your money. But if you have, and that's the thing about love. See, that's the thing about counting the cost. See, what just came to my mind now that I had to say is that people assume that relationship exists on their terms. People assume that this whole thing that is called love and relationship and life, it happens on personal terms. No, there are principles of life by which these things run. Everything runs by a principle. Everything in life is a system.
Yeah.
And if you are going to do relationship, there are principles that you must obey. And the moment you submit to those principles, they honor you with the results.
Yeah.
But the problem we have a lot of times is that we want the results, but we don't want to submit ourselves to either the principle or the processes that birth them. So these are part of the things you have to count. Now there's this issue that I want to bring up. I don't know if my team can put it up. There was this one that was trending at a point, and a lot of ladies, young ladies, you want to get into marriage and this particular, oh, thank you. There was this one about this lady, the lady that says, oh, I always wake up to get it. I always wake up at 5 a.m. to make lunch for my husband to take to work. That's one lady that always wakes up at 5 a.m. to make lunch for her husband to take to work. And then there was another one that said, I've always been too lazy to wake up and get his lunch ready. But the day he told me a colleague brought 2 spoons, a female colleague brought 2 spoons so that he will eat with her, was the day I set my alarm for 4:50. That's still the price. Now, there are different people that have, there are those that drag the lady, there are those that are dragging the guys, but this thing trended at that time. And a lot of guys came out to support the lady. Why? Because I don't know how to say it to ladies. Sometimes guys just want you to do this thing. Whether it is legislated or whether it is demanded, you need to now count the cost as a woman and say, am I willing to do this? It's not a law. It's a principle. If your husband wants you to make him lunch to take to work, and you can do it as a lady, don't come and say, feminist movement, a woman is not supposed to be do that. How can the man place that demand? No, it is your relationship. You are not having, your marriage is not based on the principles. In fact, you're not marrying the society. You are marrying the man. And if the man has placed a demand, don't carry societal influence and use it to try to impress upon your marriage. People need to be wise. That's why we say it's common sense.
Yeah, I think the one line that I would like to
re-emphasize,
re-echo in what you have just said is that you are marrying the man and not the society.
Bam!
Because really, it's about the man. Who are you going to fall out with if you don't make adjustments? It's not necessarily the society, it's the man. Who are you going to probably have to walk away from if the person says, I'm not doing this anymore, and then you have to have a divorce and stuff like that. It's the man, it's not the society. And unfortunately, the society will not come and cry with you and help you pick up the pieces when your marriage falls apart. So you really have to look well and analyze the situation and see, what can I do? So you always have to be making adjustments. That's the thing about marriage. You have to make adjustments. And both sides, both parties have to make adjustments. I mean, there are seasons, if we want to look at us, right? There are times when, like earlier years, I was preparing every meal, right? And it was beautiful. In fact, let me tell you. You
made a meal up to the point where you were going to the hospital, you were pregnant.
Yes. Let me tell you how crazy I was.
Forget that?
How crazy I was about making those meals. In fact, I would prepare every meal and have it served on the table, mats, everything, and then.
And she was a career woman, if I must say.
Yes. And then we now came to the anniversary day, and I knew you were going to come back late. There wasn't going to be anything like dinner at some fancy hotel. So what did I do? I went to Ikota, I can remember so well, and tried to make sure I'll find all the beautiful things to make the table look exceptional that day. I found blue mats, and I can remember going from shop to shop to look for blue candles that will match the mats. It took hours, but eventually I found it.
And
Long story short, I did that at that time. But then another season came when I was like, please, it's time to hire a chef or something, because I can't deal. I can't handle this right now. There's too much pressure from here, there to now add this one. It's too much, you know? So adjustments. So for you at that point, you had to adjust.
Yes. You know, it's really about counting the cost, understanding the seasons of your relationship. Now, when you are single is a season. When you get engaged, and that's another mistake people make. I've said it before, and I say it especially to singles. I've said it before. A lot of reasons why your relationships get, it's as if they get to the point where you never cross the finish line. Their boyfriend, girlfriend, but you never get to the marriage. You never get to the altar. Let me put it that way. The reason is because a lot of times they are putting the pressure of another season of their life on a preceding season. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So is in this season, you put a boyfriend, girlfriend,
Yeah.
you have moved to another season where you are engaged. And you, in that season where you are engaged, you are beginning to live like married couples.
And you're bringing the pressure and the demands
pressure of
that
marriage
come with being married
into an engagement,
yes,
into a relationship.
Yeah.
You are bringing the pressure of marriage
Yeah.
into a relationship. You are bringing the pressure of marriage into a system that does not have the foundation to hold that demand.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
And sometimes it's premature, and because of that whole premature context, you have to now start dealing with things you should not normally be dealing with. So the question is, why put yourself under that much pressure? Why not just stick to taking it one step at a time, doing what needs to be done for each season, right? When you are dating, do dating. When you are in courtship, focus on courtship. Don't now say, oh, we're courting, we're as good as married, and then you now bring the pressure. In fact, some people in the name of courtship have started cooking for the whole village because they want to demonstrate that they are wife material. You know?
But these things are real. They are real issue. I'm thinking maybe we should take some comments.
Yeah.
We should take some comments and over to you.
Okay, so let's see. We'll start with Pastor Rehoboth. He says, it must be noted that women liberation is contraindicated in marriage.
La. It's the English for me.
It should not occur at all.
And Babi, a bit on women liberation. The thing is, most people jump on the bandwagon of social media exigencies and all of that. When you I dare say that a number of the ladies that are shouting women liberation have never sat down to do a history or a research on what the feminist movement is all about, where it began from, where it started. You know, if you do a little history, just a little Google search on Wikipedia, you find the feminist movement began from the church. And it meant a different thing entirely from the agenda that some people have put upon it, and others are carrying it as a flag without understanding what is the angle behind it.
Interesting. And then the next thing he says here is feminist activism is the same as women liberation. Then Olaoluwa Muda says,
Hey,
good to see you,
Muda,
boss.
it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a very, very, very long while. I remember Muda.
Yeah.
Says, good to see you, boss. Esther says, Gen Z Wahala. Esther, you know that there's a way that when you're on social media, everybody's influencing everybody.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that some things you may say, oh, this is a Gen Z matter, right? But in actual fact, by the time the Gen Zers, in quotes, now push this gospel or this message on social media, some other people who aren't Gen Z will say, hey, this is fantastic, I think this makes sense, and they decide to try it. They decide to go with that message. So yes, Gen Z, but it's spreading, the influence is spreading. And then we have Globac EPSEC. I think this is like his company name. It says, good evening and happy new year, everyone. Oh, this is Wachuku, Gochuku. Hey! Gochuku, it's so good to see you.
There was a question
Yes,
by
happy new year.
Let me take the Kingsley's question was,
Okay.
I have serious questions. When it has to do with sacrifice, does the size of the sacrifice matter? Please take the next comment so that
Okay.
we'll run through the comments. We will come back to this question. Does
All
the
right.
size of the sacrifice matter?
Okay, Imabawakwan says, sacrifices are key in marriage and willingness from both parties to make the marriage work. Okay, so sacrifices and willingness. And then Ugochukwu says, the primary catalyst. You will see why I was excited. Ugo says, the primary catalyst that keeps and grows marriage is understanding.
Bam.
Everything revolves around that, and both the man and woman really need understanding. Then he says, you need understanding to give the real love, receive the real love, make sacrifices, take up roles when needed, respect each other, and even worship God as a couple. Thank you so much, Ugo, for that comment. Really interesting.
Very
Understanding
apt.
is really important.
Very
because
apt.
if you understand that I am stressed right now, and if I have to continue doing all these things, I may break down. I may fall sick. Something may go wrong. And you understand that you love me and you want me to be okay. For that season, you make adjustments, right? If I understand that in this season of your life, you're needing a little more care, a little more TLC, some demonstration of love that is beyond just saying hi, hello, giving you a hug, giving you a kiss, being intimate. You're looking for something extra, like a special meal prepared by me. If I understand that, then in that season, I should make adjustments to the extent possible,
Because
right?
there was a season where I just missed her meal. Yes, there's the chef, the cook, whoever. But there was a season when it just meant something different, that she's the one cooking for me. Now, if someone comes and sees us in that season, you say, what kind of insensitive man is this one, that his wife is also a working woman, and then he expects her to come back in the evening? But there's a season of life, and that's the problem. That's the problem again with this whole issue of love and marriage. And people keep saying, oh, marriages are not working. The question I keep asking is, what are you using to work it? Because marriage works if you work it. We've said that several times on this show.
Yes.
What are you using to work it? If what you need in that season is a *5 spanner or *5 screwdriver, and you are using a flat screwdriver, it will be a frustrating job trying to lose any knot in that situation. I've entered this mechanical love or love mechanics. Love mechanics. I like the sound of that one. Please write that down for me. Love mechanics. I'm sure I'll do something with it. No, but the point is, when it comes to this issue of love, even in the midst of the knotty issues, you need to know that, you need to understand what is the right tool that I will use to unlock this knot. This one that you spoke about, for example, understanding when the seasons are changing in your relationship. Understanding when the guy that used to have so much time for you doesn't really have time again because he needs to work. And it's not as if he's having a girlfriend or he's having a baby. No, he needs to work. And you need to understand that season. We had a couple that the relationship broke up because the lady felt, oh, the guy doesn't have time for me. Meanwhile, the guy is trying to hustle because the season has changed. I'm in a season where, oh, I'm trying to get married. I have to hustle extra hard. And I may not be calling you at certain times. Before I used to call you every time when I had plenty time. Now time has changed. I will call you less, but I will call you nonetheless. Do you understand? So this love, the whole love dynamics issue, the whole thing about love. People say it's not working, but a lot of times the problem with love is the people in love. Let me hang it there.
Oh my goodness, that's an interesting way to put it. The problem with love is the people in love. So if the people can make adjustments, then there will be no problem with love, right?
Pastor Rehoboth said his experience was too long and was omitted. Is it possible to write it in batches before we go? We'll read it. If it's possible to write it in batches, at least before we go, maybe it will be the last thing we'll read because we would love to hear from you, sir. Let Shipita say, Daddy, I vex. I know vex. It's just that we hear so many, we get so many experiences. We hear so many of these stories with real life people and what they are going through, and it can be painful, right? It can be painful. We need to count the cost, and especially for you singles out there, before you enter, count the cost. The truth about the cost of love is that the cost should not actually keep you away from love. No, it makes love better when you count the cost and you are willing to pay the price for it.
Yeah.
Instead of just jumping into love, didn't count the cost, and then you are surprised, you are shocked by what you find inside and say, no, I can't deal. So you find a lot of jumping in and out of love. Young people, they are not even so old. They have so many exes. How many exes do you need in your life in order to be settled? I mean, why do you need all these exes? Anyway, let me calm down.
Anyway, Sophia says, love this. I'll call you less, but I'll call you nonetheless. Kingsley has a question. Yes, this was a question he asked earlier. Please put up that question. Kingsley says, I have this serious... Where is it?
I have this serious question. When it has to do with sacrifices, does the size of the sacrifice matter? I think you should take that one.
Really? Oh my goodness! I'm just trying to understand. The sacrifice is the sacrifice, right? I mean, what the person wants is what the person wants. How much of the need can you meet? Right? So, because if you it's as if when you start putting the size thing, it's almost as if you're saying it's this or nothing. But really, it cannot be this or nothing. Example, it cannot be you must prepare every single meal or I'm not interested, right? You cannot place that demand and expect it must be met every time. You have to be able to also make adjustments to suit your partner or the person who is trying to make sacrifices for you. It's just like somebody saying, oh, I really don't like having to enter the bus to come back home. Since we have a car, honey, pick me up every day after work. And then I now say, if you really want to show that you're sacrificing because you love me, then you pick me every day. Hello? Doesn't the guy have a life? Doesn't he have other things to do with his time? Do you understand? So I would be unreasonable to place that kind of demand. So really, it's not a matter of the size of the sacrifice. It is that what is the need on ground? What is the need at the moment? And then how can you both make adjustments or align on the extent to which that need is going to be met. If it can be met 100%, fantastic. If it can't be met the whole mile, then let's just get to a reasonable portion, but still consider what it is that will make the other person still feel that, yes, you love them, and at least you're making an effort to meet their need.
In fact, what I would add to that is where my mind is going is that sometimes, when people start comparing the size of the sacrifice, is because they are counting cost. And the way they are counting cost is that they are counting it in terms of
what have you given in this relationship?
What have you given for this relationship?
What have you brought to the table?
What have I given for this relationship? So it's almost as if I do this for you, it means that you have to do this for me. And okay, the one I did for you is like this. The one you are doing for me that is, so you need to do this to prove that you are at this level. I mean, all of that measuring, that's more or less like comparing themselves with themselves, and that's not wisdom. It's almost as if anything that I'm doing for you, I'm trying to quantify it to say you have to match up. If you don't match up, you are owing me. Do you understand? You don't match up, you are owing me. And all of that just breeds competition in the relationship. Meanwhile, the essence of love is that there should be complementing, not competing. Do you understand? And even if you are going to compete, is that you people are competing in making yourselves better, which is still complementing, really, because you are pushing yourself. I always say that there's a reason why I didn't marry. There's a reason why there's a lady that I didn't want to go out with, even though it seems like everything was doing. But for me, I like somebody that can challenge me. If the lady cannot challenge me, we can't go anywhere together. So another guy will say, that one is raising the bar. That one in what's it called, in standard, too high. But for me, the high standard was a challenge to say, okay, if this is the standard, can I rise to meet the standard? And if I could, we could work together. So different people have different things. So please don't always keep comparing your relationship with what's showing on social media. Don't keep comparing your relationship with what's showing on social media, because it is you that is in a relationship with the person, not social media that is in a relationship with your lover, whoever the person is.
So I think another nice way to put that whole thing is, rather than pay attention to how much I've given to this relationship, right? You should, especially if you're married, pay attention to what your spouse does for you, to the sacrifices they're making for you, to the different ways they try to show you that they love you, right? I mean, keep record if necessary, because it will serve as a reminder and help you to realize that, yes, this person did this and did that. Sometimes we are better at writing down what they did wrong
than what they did right. That's part of the course you have to count the things they did right.
Choose to pay attention to what they did right.
Hey, yes, Sister Eki. Said, hi, sis, Pastor Kingsley and everybody. Greetings from North America. Good to be back.
Yes, we're excited.
We're excited. Hi, good to have you all the way from Canada team. So but we have gone global. We have people watching us from everywhere: Canada, Dubai, UK. I saw we had some links from Cameroon. I was like, which of our fans is Cameroon? And they will just watch. They will not say hi. So please, we like to receive from you. It's just that this is the first show, and we're just trying to be on time, because this year we are hitting things. We are going direct. We are not wasting our time. We are not wasting your time. 1 hour. In fact, some episodes it may be less than 1 hour, because we just want to hit the issues and get out of your way so that you can come back and you watch them at your own pace.
All right. So what are your closing thoughts on the cost of love?
Before I close my thoughts, I know we didn't get a chance to tell people to share the link. We didn't get a chance to tell people to like. We didn't get a chance to tell people to subscribe, to invite others. So please, share the link, subscribe, invite. In fact, post it on your status. Post it on your status, and let's get this show to. But this year we are pulling out all the stops. People
Yeah.
must get sense.
Yeah.
And if we have to borrow them, if we have to sell it to them, if we have to get it to them, any which way, let them get sense from common sense.
All right. And if you have any question, any personal question that you would like to ask, you want to share your POV on something and you'd like to get some feedback, feel free to reach out to me on my handle at Aniete Bature. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me. You can even find me on TikTok.
Yes. TikTok,
So,
Instagram,
Facebook, you
even
know.
LinkedIn. The handle is the same.
Yeah,
At
Aniete Bature.
Aniete Bature. ANIETIEBATURE. Don't say you didn't know it. So please, we will invite your questions. We will, if you have issues, even if you have counseling cases. Over the last year, we have become certified counselors, certified family practitioners, certified coaches. We just keep upgrading ourselves. We can walk you through the issues and get you to the other side, where there's light at the end of the tunnel. Somebody asked, why didn't they put the light somewhere in the middle? I mean, who always puts it at the end? I don't know. I don't know. But
All right. Okay. So, the cost of love. I think the most important thing here is for us all to realize that whether the person is the next thing after fried rice or not, whether it's your knight in shining armor or his Prince Charming or whatever, that person will still have needs and will still make demands and will still require that you make certain sacrifices. So loving that person will definitely cost you something. So before you jump in, right, take some time to analyze and to check what kind of person am I getting into this marriage with? What are this person's ideas, ideologies? What is this person's expectation, from me? You need to have a good view of that so that if you see from the beginning that what they are asking for is far beyond what you can reach, you can start to find your way out of the situation right before you jump in. But if you have already jumped in, we wish you grace and we wish you the help of God to make the right adjustments and also to engage to get to an alignment, reach an alignment with your partner so that you guys can both go ahead in peace. Thank you so much for being a part of our show today, the very first one for 2024. We're so excited that you joined us. Please remember to share, to like, and to subscribe if you have not yet done so. And this is me and my husband signing out. Like we always say, remember,
common sense is not so common.
See you next time.
Be poor. Breathe. Don't suffocate them. We have that responsibility.
And I'm actually not in town.
Yeah, we're on the road. And right now we're coming to you from Doha in Qatar. Yes, yes.